Hi friends, it's Bree Hamilton, your resident religious trauma coach, and welcome back to my channel. So today we are not doing a true crime and makeup video. We are actually going to be talking all about, more about your healing journey. And we're going to specifically be speaking about what release work really means and why it's more than just letting go. So if you are on a healing journey, especially if you're healing from religious trauma or deep emotional trauma, wounds, that kind of thing, then this is for you. So today I want to talk about something I see a lot of confusion around, and that is release work. You've probably heard people say things like, just let it go. Or if you grew up in like toxic religion, kind of the whole topic of surrender was something that would be related to this. And it's, people will just tell you to like, let the past go, release the past. But the truth about this is that release work is so much more than that. It's a really deep embodied process that, can be challenging, but it's also incredibly freeing. Something I'm really excited about is that I am actually I'm one of the facilitators for a in-person retreat later this month here in Nova Scotia. If you're local to Nova Scotia, hit me up on Instagram DMs or in the comments. I will get you information if you want to come and hang out with us and just experience some powerful release work together in a group, a small group of women in person. We don't, ever since the what that happened and shut everything down, we haven't had a lot of opportunity to do this kind of stuff. So I'm really excited about this. And if you want to learn how to reclaim your power through real release, then stay with me in this video. And if you are local, let me know and I will hook you up for the retreat. So let's start by clarifying what release work. It is not about just forgetting what happened or just moving on like it's some switch that you can flip. And I know a lot of us have been told that we need to just forgive and let go, forgive and forget or whatever. And it's like, no, that ain't it. It's really about feeling and acknowledging the emotions and memories that are kind of stuck in your body or stuck in your energy because of what happened. It's really kind of like, if you can think of it as creating space inside yourself. It's the space for your pain and your grief and your anger, right? So that these parts of you aren't controlling or limiting you. And what I mean by that is that we're not just operating out of that place of grief or anger or fear or pain or sadness. Those are allowed to exist within us. Those are allowed to be a part of us. But we are in a place where we want to start really moving forward and taking action and living more authentically into who we truly are. So when I created my sacred anger ritual, it's very similar to some of the release ceremonies that we're going to do at the retreat. We invite that energy in, we invite it up to come to the surface, to be present with us. We honor it and we move it. Often you do that through breath, through movement, using our voice, crying. But it's really a somatic physical experience as much as it is, a mental one in our head. So it is kind of combining those two parts of ourselves. So it's not just a top down or a bottom up. It's actually that combination of both. If you've been through religious trauma, this is especially important. Those experiences often train us to kind of see our emotions as bad or to feel shame around having those sorts of emotions. And release work really invites in the opposite, right? It's really how to hold our feelings with that compassionate presence, to be with those feelings, to allow them room, to validate them, to acknowledge them. So here's where many people get stuck. The phrase let go sounds very simple, right? But it can feel impossible, and it could even be harmful to just try and like brush over something and just let it go. That can sometimes look like really just pushing feelings down and pretending they're not there. And that's emotional repression. And, it keeps those wounds really locked inside. And in religious or purity cultures, letting go is sometimes twisted into that forgive and forget that I mentioned, right? Or stop feeling that way. Why do you feel that way? And, I've heard all of those things myself. And that really invalidates the experience that you're having or the emotion that you are feeling. And it causes more shame and disconnection from yourself. Hi, it's me. I've been there, done that, was completely disconnected from myself in that way. True release is not about denying your pain or skipping the hard parts. It is about being present with that discomfort and slowly, slowly learning to own your feelings without getting overwhelmed by them, right? So bringing them up, and instead of getting stuck in those feelings and getting stuck there, really allowing ourselves to feel them and acknowledge them without being completely overwhelmed by them, which is sometimes why we then kind of shove them back down. Like, no, don't have time for that. This is really where real healing and the power of this release work really begins. How do you do this kind of release work effectively, right? First, this kind of work really requires safety. So you need to feel emotionally and physically safe, whether that's in your own space or within some kind of a supportive community, like the retreat I'm facilitating, or like my group program. It doesn't have to be my thing, but just those are examples. Second, practice patience and presence. So this can be hard. And recognizing that release isn't a one-time thing. I know for me, growing up in religious trauma, a lot of times there was this like shame around, well, I thought I already dealt with this thing. I thought I already gave this to the Lord. This isn't that, okay? This is recognizing that we might need to release things more than once, right? It's a process that unfolds in layers. So sometimes it might just be one layer of it that we're able to kind of move through and work through. If we were to try and like go through every single layer of this onion at once, that would be extremely overwhelming. So it's really about going slow and being gentle with yourself through this process. That third piece is somatic or embodiment practices. Things like breath work, movement, vocal expression. If you are processing and expressing anger, that might look like yelling and screaming. And that's entirely valid. These sorts of things can kind of help move that energy through your body instead of just keeping it stuck in your mind, right? At the retreat and in my upcoming coaching program, we are going to use these sorts of tools alongside that community support and guidance, because healing alone can be isolating and overwhelming, right? I know, because I did a lot of that stuff on my own. I stumbled through a lot of stuff all by myself because I didn't know anybody else was experiencing this. So the final piece I want to kind of give to you about how to practice release work effectively is really starting small, okay? Notice what your body is telling you right now. Maybe you have tension in your chest. Maybe your throat feels tight and constricted. Bringing gentle awareness to where you're noticing that is kind of a very first small step to release. So to wrap up, release work is not just letting go. It's a brave, embodied, ongoing practice of really feeling, moving, and transforming that stuck energy. If this resonates with you, I'd love to invite you to join me at the upcoming in-person retreat later this month. It is hosted here in Southwestern Nova Scotia. I'm happy to provide you the details. If you reach out to me on Instagram, I can DM you all the information. It's a safe, supportive space to really experience that release work deeply. Also, if you are not local, if you're local, you're still welcome to join my 6-month coaching program. But this is especially for those who aren't local and can't come to the in-person retreat. We are starting in September. We are going to go from September to the beginning of December, and then take a break and start again mid-January and go until the end of March. So we are going to be together for 6 months. And this is a live coaching program really designed to hold space for that ongoing healing and transformation. We are going to be diving deep into that together. So please subscribe, like, comment below with your experiences or questions about release work or either of those programs, and share this video with anyone who might need it, might benefit from this small little corner of the internet where we do this sort of work together. So thank you so much for being here today, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, friends.